Hey Freedom Family, this is Mark, and I am glad you're here at _Freedom for Life _ where we give you the tools, the truth, and the knowledge to take you from where you're at to where you're called and created to be. And I gotta tell you, I'm excited for our conversation today, because today I'm gonna give you the single foolproof way of communicating with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, coworker, whoever, but the one way that you can communicate, the foolproof way that you can communicate where both of you win. So let's get started, shall we? And as we get started today, could you do me a favor and become a part of the Freedom Family by subscribing? And don't forget to hit the notification so you're part of all these conversations that we're having. And do me a favor, hit the like button. Let us know that what we're doing here resonates with you. And don't forget to do this. We want to have the conversations that you want to be a part of. So in the comments down below, could you make a comment? Let us know what conversations you want to have around any subject at all. And don't forget, in the description down below are the links to our Facebook and our Instagram pages. And so we're talking about communication today. And there's no resume that I want to tell you, but just know this. I've been married for 28 years and I've lived on the earth for 55 years. With that being said, I am not an expert in communication, but what I have been able to do is learn from my own mistakes and also learn from some people that are super wise in the area. So what I'm giving you isn't because I'm some sort of marriage and family counselor. I'm giving you the information I have by living through the mistakes and the issues that I've created through my lack of communication. And so here's the deal. There is a purpose to communication. Do you know that? When I first got married, I thought the purpose of communication was for me to have my way and for her to agree with me. I don't know if you've ever been there, but man, was that a mistake. And it was a mistake that caused challenges in my marriage. To be totally honest, the biggest part of the issues we've had in our marriage was communication, or a really bad example of it. But what I found was this: there is actually a purpose to communication. It's not for me to have my way. It's not for me to convince you that I'm right. It's not for me to show how much I'm smarter than you are, better than you are, or whatever. There's a single purpose for communication, and that purpose for communication is a single word, and that word is connection. See, it's not getting a point across, and I'm talking in relationship. It's not getting a point across or making sure I have my way. It's not even passing on knowledge. The single purpose for communication is this: it's to maintain connection. So that whether you and I are disagreeing, or we're not getting along, or we have a difference of opinion, we still have this. We have the ability to understand that at the end of the day, we are connected. What connection means is this. Connection means that I am 100% committed to this relationship, and I'm 100% committed to deal in a healthy way with anything that's standing in the way of our connection. And in that place of commitment, I'm inviting you to do the same. So when I say connection, I mean that. My commitment to it, my commitment to dealing with anything that's in the way, and my commitment, honestly, to deal with anything on the inside of me that's standing in the way of our connection, our commitment, our communication, and our relationship. It's not easy, and it does take work, but it's worth it. My wife and I have been married 28 years, known each other for 30, and we had a track record early on of bad communication and a bad relationship. And so I know what bad looks like, but I'm living what good looks like now. And it's through understanding from people and being willing to put in the work. So man, be that person too. Whether you're single and you're just trying to get along with friends and family and coworkers, or you're married, you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, and trying to navigate and negotiate what a relationship looks like, be committed to this, because when you're committed to this, everything works out better. But what I found out in my marriage and in my life was there's some things that stood in the way. And there's actually several of them. I'll say 3. The first one is this. You know what stood in the way of good communication in my current relationship? Was bad communication in my past relationships. The things that you learn from a dysfunctional relationship, the guards you put up and the defenses you had because, hey, that was kind of a passive-aggressive relationship that didn't really work out well for me. The things I learned from past relationships were the things I had to unlearn to be healthy in my current relationship, which has been together forever. The second one was this. The second thing that stood in the way was, honestly, the way I was raised. My parents were great parents, did the best job that they could. They were awesome at some things, and they weren't good at some things as well, just like me as a parent and a husband as well. But what happens is, the way they show what communication and connection look like is the way that I live it out. What is modeled is what you typically do unless you learn something different. And so maybe your family's like that, or is your family the family that argues really loud and really aggressively? Is you're the family that hides from the issues and stays away? Is you're the family where one person's domineering and one person's submissive? None of these are healthy. None of these are what a good, healthy connection and communication looks like. But all of these are ways that we may live out because we don't know better until today. The third thing that stands in the way is this: me. The hurts, the wounds, the issues, the insecurities in my life. It's sometimes not the way you say something or what you say. It's the way that I hear it, because I'm hearing it through the area of insecurity that I have, or the area of anxiety that I have, or worry or feel of lack or frustration in my life. Sometimes the things that stands in the way is the hurts and the wounds in my life that interpret your words in a way that you never intended. Hey, so we understand this. We understand where our relationship's at. And hopefully we understand some of the barriers that are standing in the way. But hey, how do you communicate well? It really comes down to two parts, and both of us have a part in it. There's the person who's speaking that has a part, and there's the person who's listening. Good communication has two components: somebody who's speaking and somebody who's listening. Obvious, right? But I don't know in your life what it looks like. I'm sure you've done a great job, but in my life, I didn't realize what my role was. When it was my job to speak, I felt like what I was trying to do was to convince you that I'm right, to let you know that it needs to be my way, and to bludgeon you with facts until it happens. And it's not actually the case. In healthy communication, the person that's speaking is speaking to be heard. Not really trying to convince, certainly not trying to accuse or to blame, but trying to let the person know that they're communicating with, hey, this is where I'm coming from and this is where I'm at. Because the honest truth is, in 99.99% of communication, the issue is never the issue. It's not really that you left the toilet seat up, or hey, why'd you spend that money that I was going to spend somewhere else, or no, you chose dinner last week, I want to choose where we go to eat. Right? It's never the issue. The issue isn't the issue. The issue is the communication and the feelings that are attached to it. So in being the person that's speaking, the first thing that you do is you try and do this: telling you where I'm coming from without blaming you, without accusing you, without putting you down or putting you on the defensive. So it really comes down to language. And so some of that language could sound like this: hey, when you said that, it made me feel this way, whatever that way was. You could go further and say, hey, I'm just trying to learn my process here, so could you help me out? Because when we had that conversation, it felt to me this way. Could you help me to understand what you were meaning there? Because I want to make sure that I'm understanding you right so that we can stay connected. It comes down to this: you have feelings and your feelings are valid. But understanding that your feelings aren't their fault, and if you communicate that, what you'll find on the other side is somebody who doesn't come back at you defensively, but maybe somebody who will join you in that place of connection. It starts with language. So speaking to let them know where you're at, without blaming, without accusing, without putting down, without telling them it's their fault, without pointing a finger. It takes practice, but it's in that place that you set the stage for connection and healthy communication. And so that's the person who's speaking. The person who's listening, they also have an assignment. And their assignment is this: to listen, to hear. And I know you're saying to yourself, well, of course I'm hearing, but are we really? I don't know about in your case. I'm sure you're perfect at hearing as well. But in my case, part of my hearing actually was me trying to build a defense to show that I'm right. So I was really looking for my opening, or listening for the thing that I could point out that they did wrong, not really listening to understand where they were coming from. And in cases, there's some cases where, to be totally honest, I was kind of zoning out, and you stopping to talk actually re-engaged my brain. I'm sure I'm the only guy that does that. But listening is an assignment. The assignment is this: I'm listening to hear you, not with the intent of finding out why you're wrong and I'm right, building up my own defense or giving you my counterpoint so I can show that I'm the one that's on the right side of this conversation. And so part of the listening person's response could be something like this: hey, when you said this, I'm hearing this, am I right? And in just your language in response to their conversation, you start to open the door for them to let you in a place where you can both be vulnerable and connected together. Listening and speaking, connection, communication comes down to this. Can we have a place where we can both be vulnerable, open, and authentic without putting on defenses and hiding our true self away from each other, without putting up a wall against each other? Listening and speaking, good communication takes work, and it takes language that invites somebody in instead of holds them out. And I know you can do it. My wife and I have an amazing marriage. We don't get along all the time. We get along 99.99% of the time. And the times that we don't agree never get to a place where it's hurting and it's wounding. And if it is in a place where we think that's the case, there's these 3 words: I am sorry, that we do to reset our connection and our communication. Hey, but we haven't always been super healthy. We haven't always communicated in ways that built up the relationship. But we brought tools into our relationship to allow that to happen. And if we can do it, you can do it. And if you're just decent or you're good at communication, these are tools that can make you great about it. And isn't this a time in our lives and maybe in this world where healthy communication should be modeled and lived? Maybe you and I can be a part of that. So why don't we start today? Listening, speaking from a place of health and well-being, not from your wounds and your hurts and your issues. Can that be something that you and I do together? I'm here for you. We are here for you at _Freedom for Life. All of those hurts and those wounds and those issues, we've got videos on insecurity, on fear, on all sorts of things that can help you walk through that journey, your freedom journey, so that the real you, the healthy you, comes through in your communication. And I'm actually we are at the place of almost being ready to launch this course called Life Mastery. And in that place, you start to find out, hey, how can I have the tools, the truth, and the knowledge to build relationship in a way that's healthy and vibrant and amazing? That is coming. If you want to be a part of that, if it's something that you're interested in, hey, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, go out there and DM me. Let me know that it's something you're interested in. We're polishing it up right now, finalizing it, getting it ready so that we can launch it, so that we can walk people more and more into their freedom journey so that they can have relationship, communication, and everything they need in every area of their life, whether it's spiritual, financial, relational, vocational, or even health and fitness. Success principles, life mastery principles are universal, and they can fit into all sorts of areas, those 5 life mastery areas of your life. Hey, I'm Mark, and I am glad you're here at _Freedom for Life _ where we do give you the tools, the truth, and the knowledge to take you from where you're at to where you're called and created to be. Do me a favor, join the Freedom family by subscribing. Hit that notification so you're a part of every conversation that we have. And hit the like button. Let us know that we're doing something, we're having a conversation that resonates with you. And if there's some topic that you want to talk about, some area you want to have a conversation about, put that in the comments. Do me a favor, check out in the description the links to our Facebook and our Instagram pages. One last favor you can do for me. Hey, share this. Share it with your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, spouse, friend, family member. Share this with somebody who you want to communicate better with and see that it doesn't get better for you. Last but not least, Freedom family, remember this: dominate your day